Wanna play?
Here's Johnny!
I need a bigger boat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wanna Play. My name is James McKenna, and boy do I have an announcement to make, because right now we will be doing another walkthrough. But I can now confirm, for the next 11 walkthroughs in a row, we will be taking a deep dive into the entire Halloween franchise. Halloween 1, Halloween 2, 3, yeah, we're looking at Halloween 3, 4, 5, 6, H2O Resurrection, the 2 Rob Zombie remakes, and the 2018 one. All the Halloween movies, but we have to start things off with the movie that got me into horror, which spawned, all of this. The second horror movie that I ever watched, and my second favorite, formerly first favorite, 1978's Halloween. The movie that was produced, scored, and directed by the same dude, John Carpenter, an absolute legend in the horror genre. But yeah, a fun fact about Halloween is that it was filmed in the spring, not the fall. So every single leaf you see around there was actually collected in the fall, and every single leaf is in like every shot, pretty much. They had one bag of leaves that they would go out and spread across all the land, so it looked like it was fall, which is awesome. That's a dedication that we need to make an absolute all-time classic like this. So yeah, this movie is awesome. I absolutely love it. I have more stuff for Halloween than anything else on this shelf back here. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. We open up with the sickest opening credit scene of all time as this pumpkin grows bigger and bigger and bigger and creepier and creepier. And you know what? I'm gonna keep talking so you can see more of it. Yep. There it goes. And it continues on. It's getting bigger. Awesome. What an opening to this movie. In the fictional town of Haddonfield, Illinois on 1963, a first-person POV shot walks around a house and looks in on this girl, Judith Myers, making out with her boyfriend on the couch. The two of them go upstairs, and then we get the first of the awesome score in this movie. A first-person hand grabs a chef knife from a kitchen drawer and picks up a clown mask off the floor. He walks up the stairs after he sees Judith Myers' boyfriend leaving, and he goes into Judith's room, who screams, "Michael!" and he goes in and stabs her to death multiple times. Oh my god! This dude's a psycho! What is happening? The killer goes outside where a couple parents show up, and they take off his mask to reveal that it was a little kid who stabbed his older sister to death. What? Cut to 15 years later on October 30th, 1978, where we meet Dr. Sam Loomis and the driver of this car, Marion Chambers, who are pulling up to the Smiths Grove Sanitarium. But when they pull up, it looks like the inmates are out and about. Loomis goes to check it out, but Michael Myers jumps onto Marion's car and starts strangling her, causing her to jump out. But when she does jump out, Loomis comes back and sees Michael driving away with the car. Cut back to Haddonfield, this time in 1978, where we meet Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who, fun fact, is the daughter of another final girl that I've talked about on the walkthrough, Janet Leigh, or Marion Crane from Psycho. She meets up with Tommy Doyle, the kid who she's babysitting tonight, and they go and drop off a key at the old Myers house, failing to notice a shape staring at them from inside the house, and when Laurie walks away, the shape comes outside and stares at her as well, going completely unnoticed. Loomis talks to this completely forgettable dude who totally won't come back in the future. And hey, Loomis, if Michael's been locked up for the past 15 years, how does he know how to drive?
He was doing very well last night. Maybe someone round here gave him lessons.
Okay. In class, Laurie looks out the window to see a shape staring right back at her, but when the teacher calls on her to answer a question, she manages to answer it completely correct. Oh, he's gone. Tommy gets harassed by some bullies back at his school who tell him that the boogeyman is gonna get him tonight since it's Halloween. But then, oh good god! Loomis stops at a phone booth to warn Haddonfield's police that Michael Myers is coming back, but he notices a truck with a torn hospital gown on it, but doesn't notice a dead body chilling in the bushes. We then totally meet Laurie's good friends Annie and Linda, who are all great friends, right?
Totally.
Laurie then remembers that she forgot her biology book back at school, but then Michael Myers drives by in the car and Annie screams,
Hey, jerk! Speed kills!
Michael Myers slams on the brakes and waits a couple seconds, but eventually just drives off again. Pretty creepy, right?
Totally.
They continue to walk home, but once again we see a shape standing in the bushes, who does a disappearing act again. After a quick jump scare from Brackett, Laurie finally makes it home. Wait, why are these kids trick-or-treating in the middle of the day? She looks out her window and sees Michael once again, and then somehow, without her ever even stopping to look out the window, Michael Myers just disappears. What, did she watch him teleport? What's going on? Laurie goes to hang out with Annie, and then Loomis arrives at the graveyard, but it looks like Mikey's already been there.
He came home.
You can say that again. Laurie and Annie get tailed by Michael before Annie notices her dad on the street. Annie's dad is the sheriff in town who's investigating a robbery at your local hardware store. But what was robbed?
All they took was some Halloween mask, rope, and a couple of knives.
Not concerning at all, right?
Totally.
And then the car that Loomis is looking for drives right behind him. Come on, Loomis, you gotta do better than that. Annie and Michael pull up to do some babysitting, and then Sheriff Brackett and Loomis arrive at Michael Myers' old house, and they discover a freshly dead dog before they go upstairs to investigate some more. A brick smashes through the window and scares the hell out of Loomis. The sheriff notices this and asks him about it, and then we get one of the best monologues in film history.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Loomis decides to stay at Myers' old house just in case he comes back, and then we go back to Laurie. Tommy peeks out the window to see an absolutely terrifying sight as a shape stares right back at him. Now's a good time to introduce the kid who Annie's babysitting tonight, Lindsay Wallace, who's stuck in a trance while watching The Thing from Another World, which is ironic because Carpenter would go on to direct his own Thing, which many regard as the greatest horror movie of all time. And apparently, another fun fact about Halloween, the girl who played Lindsay Wallace went to see her movie in theaters, but was so terrified by the thought of Michael Myers coming in and terrorizing her and her family that she had to sleep with their mother until she was 15 years old because she was so afraid, which is actually super funny when you think about it. Tommy is also watching The Thing while Annie goes outside to do her laundry, but gets trapped in by the wind all while Michael Myers watches on. She gets stuck trying to get out of another door, but Lindsay comes in and saves her before she can get got. Michael reappears, then disappears before Annie brings Lindsay over to Laurie's house and goes off to hang out with her boyfriend. But when she gets into her car, she forgets to check the back seat because Michael Myers pops up and strangles her to death in the car, as well as a stab that you kinda can see off screen, and then we get some more awesome sound design as her face falls down onto the horn. Oh yeah, and Michael also kills Lindsay's dog. Tommy goes to scare Lindsay, but he gets a taste of his own medicine as he gets scared himself because when he turns around to look out the window, he sees Michael Myers carrying Annie's body back into the house. Back at the Myers house, some of the bullies from earlier appear pressuring each other to go up to the Myers house and ring the doorbell, but Loomis hangs around long enough to learn their names and...
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
We totally cut to Linda and her boyfriend Bob, who go into Annie's house and begin to make out on the couch, all while Michael Myers once again goes unnoticed. Bob and Linda go to the extreme in their dead friend's parents' house, which, you know, oh, okay. And then Bob goes to get him a beer and says,
I'll be right back.
No, you won't, okay, buddy? He turns around and, oh my god, Michael Myers busts out of the closet, picks him up by his throat with one hand, and stabs him through the gut with a knife long enough to keep him hanging up on the wall and still having blades showing out. What? Yeah, Mikey, you earned that head tilt. But now it's time for the Ghost Bob show, which begins with another terrifying shot of Michael Myers opening the door somehow without using any hands, with a sheet over his head, along with Bob's glasses. All while Linda has no clue that it's actually a serial killer. Hey, where do you even get the sheet from, not to mention the time to find a pair of scissors and cut out eye holes in them? Michael chokes Annie to death, all while Laurie listens on the phone, but yeah, it doesn't really sound like someone's dying, is it there, Laurie? Loomis finally notices Marion Chambers' car was behind him the whole time, and he goes to check it out. And then we go back to Laurie, who does seem pretty concerned despite the noises that she just heard on the phone, because she tucks the kids into bed and slowly walks over to Annie's house. She heads around the back door and yells everybody's name a couple times before walking up the stairs so we can begin this movie's final girl circuit, which, by the way, is the best final girl circuit there ever was. She opens up the door and boom! Dead Annie with Judith Meyer's grave head over her. Boom! Dead swinging Bob. Boom! Cabinet cross-eyed Linda. And oh my god, Michael Myers' mask slowly starts to form in the shadows, and he comes out and slashes at her, and now it's time to rumble! Laurie goes to escape out the back door, but Michael saw it coming because he locked her in with a rake. Michael busts through the door, but so does Laurie, who runs away to the neighbor's house. The neighbors straight up ignore her, which, you know, great people. She runs back home, where Tommy opens the door, and she yells at him, "Do as I say!" to run and hide with Lindsay. She sits down on the couch, but then Michael appears out of nowhere, but gets a sewing pin through the neck for his troubles. And then for literally no reason at all whatsoever, Laurie drops the knife on the floor. Laurie runs upstairs to give the two kids a hug and says that she killed the boogeyman. But Tom is smarter than his cat counterpart and says that you can't kill the boogeyman, a point that's proven as Michael Myers walks up the stairs. The kids go and hide again, and so does Laurie, this time in the closet, where Michael Myers starts to break through in probably the most suspenseful scene of the movie, which only earns him a clothing pin through the eye hole. Oh my god! Laurie gets out of the closet now that Michael Myers is on the ground, and she drops the knife again, and this time literally right next to him. This is what I mean when I said H2O Laurie was better than the original. Michael hears that gong and gets struck by lightning on a coffin, causing him to rise up like the Undertaker. Loomis then sees the two kids running and screaming down the street, so he puts two and two together and heads into Laurie's place. They start scuffling about again before Laurie manages to rip off Michael's mask. He puts it back on, but then with some expert timing, Loomis rushes up the stairs and shoots him 6 times! He shoots him 6 times! Michael falls back first off the balcony, and Laurie says,
"What's the boogeyman?"
As a matter of fact, it was.
But when he goes to look down off the balcony, Michael's gone. A montage of all the places that we saw in this movie starts playing, which signals to us that it's end of movie. But this video isn't over because it's awards time. Hooray! The first award is gonna go to my favorite part, which is the whole thing. It's Halloween! How could it not be? The entire movie, from a minute to an hour and 30 minutes, this is the best. Well, apart from The Shining, this is the second best of all time. How could I not give my favorite part to the whole thing? I mean, geez, watch it. The best kill is just gonna go to Bob, isn't it? Bob is by far the best kill in this movie, because, you know, a lot of them are done off screen, and a lot of them are, you know, dogs, but this is by far the best. One of, if not the best jump scare in horror history. Bob turns around, Michael busts out of the closet, pierces him through the stomach with a knife, which, yes, it doesn't make any sense at all that he's pinned up against the wall with still blade showing and somehow the knife isn't falling down because that is a humanoid body. It doesn't make any sense, but it is super cool. It's Halloween, none of it makes sense. Curse of Thorn, shut up, get out of here. See, here's the thing about the worst kill. Even though it's literally in the graphic, that's only the worst humanoid kill, because the worst kill is actually off screen in this, so it couldn't really be in the graphic, could it? The worst kill is the dog that Loomis sees, because it's just a dog. It's an off-screen dog being eaten by Michael. At least the other dog was shown on screen getting killed. Like, come on, could you not show this? What? Worst kill, I'm sorry. But since I did say that a lot of the other movies are pretty god-awful, I'm going to save Michael Myers as the best character, as well as Laurie Strode as the best character, and give the best character to the original Halloween to Sam Loomis, because he's not an idiot, he's not stuck up, he doesn't use children as human bait for Michael Myers in this movie. He's just a silly old man terrorizing neighborhood kids who are trying to prank each other into going into Michael Myers' house. He's an awesome doctor who saves the day in the end, shooting him 6 times! He shot him 6 times! Oh my god! He's just a great character. You can't argue that. And this is definitely the best Donald Pleasance acting as well as character written in the entire franchise. And another similarity for Psycho is the worst character, because there is none. I mean, sure, there's that one totally forgettable guy in the beginning, sort of, but he still ties into the story as just a way of Loomis giving some sort of backstory of how Michael knows how to drive, even though he literally says, I don't know. At least he's there for that, so Loomis isn't talking to himself. But yeah, a lot of the characters tie into the story here. They all have great deaths, or great written, or Michael Myers. So yeah, I gotta give the best character to no one. Not even the trucker, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't get Michael's iconic look. Laurie throughout the entire franchise. Oh, there's a spider. Sorry about that. A spider just came down right in front of my face. And good God, am I terrified of spiders. Enough about that. If there's ever a signing thing, if I ever become famous or whatever, you don't bring a spider, because if you do, I will smack you. Anyway, back to the awards ceremony. I'm gonna give the dumbest bit to 2 parts, actually. Laurie Strode dropping the knife. Twice. Like, come on. There's literally no reason for you to drop the knife. This dude's coming after you, and you stick him in the neck with, what, a crochet pin, and then drop a giant butcher knife right next to you instead of finishing him off? I mean, come on. And then you do it again after you walk out of the closet after stabbing him with a clothing pin. Come on. I'm sorry, that's the only complaint I have about this movie. It's just, like, why? This is why I like Laurie's character better in the later movies, because she's not about to do this. Instead, she's gonna chop her brother's head off. So, yeah, that's why it's gotta be the dumbest moment. Scary scene might actually be a little bit surprising, because I'm gonna give it to when Tommy first looks out the window and sees Michael Myers staring right back at him. Because it's at this moment where they knew they fricked up. They're absolutely screwed when you see it, and you know it. And the fact that even Laurie's now denying it because she's been seeing him earlier, but everybody says, no, it's not the boogeyman, it's not real, you're all seeing things. So she tries it on Tommy, but no, it's been real the whole time, and you know it's been real as the viewer, because you've just seen Michael murder his sister. So, it's terrifying. And it's actually super creepily lit, too, because all you see is just this black figure with this pale mask on. One of the most terrifying, actually probably the most terrifying mask in horror history. All you just see is just this face, just in the darkness, looking at him. And it's absolutely terrifying. I mean, imagine you, put yourself in Tommy's shoes. You're looking out a window and you just see that. It's terrifying. It's scary. And finally, I'm gonna give the most iconic line to...
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
For the first time ever, I'm actually giving it to the last line in a movie, but this one absolutely deserves it. I mean, it is really scary, the way she delivers it after Loomis looks down and Michael Myers is gone. So yeah, it's super iconic though, because it gave Michael his nickname as the Boogeyman, and it really brought up fear in the Boogeyman than it was before. And it's probably the most parodied thing. Like, do you believe in the Boogeyman? It's the Boogeyman. It's that. That and do as I say now. But those ones are usually like cheap callbacks that I don't necessarily respect as much as the Boogeyman ones, because it's really cool. It's a super iconic line, and in Rob Zombies, it actually makes for a super nice swerve, so there you go. But with that comes... end of award ceremony. Oh, run away! Oh no, I tripped! Wait, what? Thanks for watching my walkthrough on literally one of the greatest movies ever made, Halloween. Oh my god, you have no clue how much I love this movie. As I said in the intro, if it wasn't for this, I never would have gotten into horror movies, which is awesome. You don't know how dead afraid I was of those things. Literally, I would go to bed, and I have nightmares about Chucky every single night. Poltergeist every single night. It was whacked out. And then I decided to watch Halloween, and, well, all that went away. So thank God for that. And yeah, now we're going to tackle the entire Halloween franchise. Oh boy, we got a long road ahead of us. But I think we can make it. Even though that there are some, there's some pretty bad movies. Yeah, you all know that. There's a lot of bad movies in Halloween, but whatever, we're gonna get through them because I love this franchise. If it wasn't for this, I never would have been into fourth. But I think this is an awesome franchise, which has an insane amount of actually good movies, with the second, third, H2O, and Halloween 2018 being my favorites. So yeah, we will get into those down the road, but until then, stay tuned. Because now, we're doing 2 uploads a week. So who knows, this is coming out on Friday. Maybe Halloween 2 is coming out on Sunday in 2 days. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Until then, goodbye. And good night. Bang!